One, hey, we're Chris and Lee here, and we're here with our good buddy Chris Trapani. What's up, Chris Trapani?
I'm excited to be here with you guys.
All right, good to see you. We're going to talk some good stuff. We're going to talk about mortgages and across the board today. We're going to cover all types of topics. Obviously, I'm Lee. That's Chris. This is Chris. So I got Chris and Chris.
We got good names.
It's his lucky day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He gets twice as
I
much.
got Chris in stereo. So
As
go
I
ahead.
was saying, I had a friend who was 5 foot tall, okay, and he used to tell everyone he was 5'9", and they'd be like,
Wait,
"Dude,
wait.
you're insane! How are you 5'9"?" He's like, "Bro, I'm 5'9".
Oh.
And I'm 5'6", but I'm 10 foot tall, and that's how I walk around.
All
And I'm
okay,
confused.
cool. Yeah, I'm confused. You're
That's
been
because
confused
you're
for a
not
long
10
time,
foot
dude.
tall.
You've been confused for a very long time.
Here they
You've been
come.
confused for a long time. You should be putting that out there, dude.
Shots
We're
fired,
okay
shots
with that. We're
fired.
okay with that. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what do you think about the mortgage biz, man?
Well, it's tough. A lot of people having a hard time. A lot of people are not going to renew their licenses come
Dude, there's people
January.
going broke.
Yes.
There's people flexing, and they're like, they got their cars being repossessed. Like, oh no, there must be a error in my bank statement. No, it's a tough business, man. It's unbelievably tough. You know how many loan officers are leaving the business this year so far?
I've heard all numbers across the board.
Give me a number you heard.
I've heard 80,000, but I am thinking 2/3 of loan officers are not going to renew in January.
Is that what you're thinking? What are you
Yeah.
thinking, Chris?
It's 80,000. It's 1/3.
1/3?
Yeah.
So far, right? So
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Now, when does it get better?
You know, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's been wrong so far. As far as interest rates, nobody's been right.
We're not going to tell on anyone. No, Mary Mamie.
My personal prediction is rates short of the war, which will push rates down. Short of the war, I think the second quarter of next year, the rates will start to drop, and then they're going to start saying, "Wow, look at what a great job Joe Biden did! Look, the rates are low, rates are low, rates are low," and it's all political.
So you're saying second quarter of 24? Second quarter, what month do you think? Give me a ballpark.
I'm really thinking like May.
May? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
I hope
thinking
yours is
yeah.
right.
I hope yours is right too,
I
because
hope
I
it's
don't,
right,
I don't,
too.
I don't come up with that.
What are you coming?
I'm coming up with third quarter of 24, and only the beginning of it. But it's going to be an illusion before that, because if you understand how mortgage interest rates work, they're based off the 10-year yield, not the 10-year bond, the 10-year yield, but the 10-year yield, and then there's customarily a 1.5 spread. So right now the 10-year yield is about 5.5. So we should be at 7. That's where we should be. But because of the uncertainty in the market, we're at 8. And there's that point that can move back and forth right now, and that's what's happening. Like last Friday, we went down, bloop, for a little while, and then went right back up. So there's that little bit of play that's going on there. As soon as we get certainty in the market, we're going to drop down. It's going to look like things are getting better, but the truth is we're just getting back to norm. And then the pause. So, Chairman Powell says the pause, he was not really ready to commit, but once he commits to the pause, meaning that Fed's not going to raise the interest rates anymore, it's right now 5.5%. But once he commits to the pause, we think there's going to be 3, 4, or 5 FOMC meetings where he's not going to move it. And as soon as everything stabilizes, then the pivot happens. And we think the pivot happens third quarter. The pivot, once it starts going from 5.5 to 5.25, it's not going to happen gangbusters. It's going to happen slowly. But once it starts to gain speed, look out. Because we have right now 18 months of pent-up demand. 18 months of people that wanted to buy that can't afford. So if you just got to hang on for one more year and not eat, not make your mortgage payment, not pay your car payment, if you stay in the business and you're in at the end of 24 is going to be the beginning of the green pastures. The end of 24. So you got to survive another year, and I don't think most can.
Do you know what that looks like? Do you know what that looks like when the green pastures start?
Yeah, I've been there.
Insane.
I've been there.
Based on the 80,000 number, okay, so across the nation, there's about a 250,000 loan officers, licensed loan officers across the nation. So 250,000 minus 80,000, okay, and that's just the starting number. That's not the end number, because more people are going to fall out. And then you have your pent-up demand. Then you got your 33s, and then you got everyone else who thinks it's a good idea to buy a house now because the interest rates are low again. That's an insane market.
Everything is supply and demand, and we have no supply. We have a demand. The demand will become tremendous once the rates drop, and we'll have a lot of people who've been hanging on and not selling because they don't want to lose their 3% interest rate.
Yeah.
And when the rates drop, those move-up buyers will make that move. So we'll have we'll finally have some supply, and the demand will be there like never before.
How long have you been in mortgages?
I'm a rookie of 33 years.
33 years. Okay.
Yeah.
33 years. So is it right now a buyer's market or a seller's market?
I'm calling it a seller's market, although we're starting to see a little bit of movement where, because of the high interest rates, there are less buyers. A couple of years ago, we saw 30, 40, 50 buyers for every house on the market, and 30, 40, 50 offers.
Yeah.
And right now, they're not seeing that, obviously, but they are seeing 1, 2, or 3.
I think you're wrong.
Tell me.
I think you're wrong. I think we're 100% buyer's market. Here's why.
Go ahead.
Because right now, if you're qualified and you're able to buy and you go into a $500,000 house, that house has been on the market for 90 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever. But you're the buyer. You can walk in and go, hey, I kind of like that house, but I want you to discount it. And you don't say discount it. You say, right, I would like for you to pay closing costs, which is saying I want a $10,000 discount. And I'm going to offer less than what you're asking. Now, the seller is in a really screwed spot because they haven't had an offer in 60 days. They're sitting there on the market going, how can I not get an offer? The buyer runs the show. If you are a qualified buyer right now, you run the show. Now, I want you to flip it back to 2 years ago. Same $500,000 house. It goes on the market on Saturday. By Monday, there's 15 offers. And there's 15 offers, and the first few of them are going, hey, I'll offer a little less because these people, you know what? I've seen,
Garbage.
I have a lot of very, very good friends that are top producing realtors, and I see them offers when they come in. Then immediately, those ones that go lowball, they're like, nope, we're not even going to look at you because it's ridiculous.
Right.
Then there's this package that come in at price, $500,000, and they're like, okay, we'll look at these. But then there's these 2 or 3 that come in $5,000 over. And guess who gets the offer every time? The one over. So the seller runs the market in that case. Right now, even though interest rates are in the 8%, absolutely, positively buyer's market. Absolutely. Make a case for seller's market.
Well, I do think that the mistake that agents are making, a lot of agents, are they're asking too much. The comps don't support it, and they're going above. So if you're going to ask $800,000 on a house worth $775, it's going to sit on the market for the next 90 days or until somebody wakes up and lowers the price down. Now, does that mean that the market's going down? No, it means it was priced irrationally.
Correct.
Now, I know agents right now who, if they have a $500,000 house, which is rare here in California, of course, they're listing it for $400,000 to create the bidding war, and they're still selling at $500 or above.
Yeah.
So
2020 all over again.
And that's a technique. I mean,
yeah,
that's a technique.
it's a technique, and what they do is they get a whole bunch of buyer leads. Now they have these 10 people that are making offers at lowball offers, and they're coming to them at open houses. They're doing the open houses. Now they got 10 people to go work with and sell.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So question,
Yeah.
why do you get so dolled up? You never just come to hang out with Chris and Lee?
This is what I do.
Yeah?
Yep, I stand out.
I don't think I've ever seen you outside of a suit. Ever.
He called you dolled up. He's
Well-
like, hey, baby, you're all dolled
What am I
up
gonna
for
do
me,
with
eh?
this
Now someone else is jealous.
You're all dolled up.
When I was a kid, my dad was a Marine, and when he left the Marines, he wound up working for IBM. And IBM, they had a uniform, and it was a black suit, black tie, black shoes, black hat, white shirt. That's how you dressed. And my dad dressed like that every day, and he used to tell us, when you dress professional, you feel professional. When you feel professional, you're going to act professional. And when you act professional, everybody says, that guy's a professional. It's ingrained in me. That's who I am.
That's good stuff, man.
All right.
So Israel.
He's like, so we got a little dead time here. We don't like this. I'm going to drop a grenade in a second of this.
All right.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Israel?
I'm actually amazed today at what's going on, and amazed by the kids with the ignorance and what they're doing unknowingly.
Is it their fault? With the machine
kinda.
that's going against them
Well-
and against us, is it their fault?
Well, you need to think objectively.
Okay.
You can't just take what people tell you as gospel, including me. At the end of World War II, when Eisenhower went into Germany, and he went into Auschwitz, and he went into all these camps. He had the photographers take tens of thousands of pictures because he said someday people are going to say that never happened. They're doing that right. No. Eisenhower. Eisenhower said someday they're going to deny that this ever
These are
happened.
confused.
This is happening
Hitler's
right
an
now.
enemy country. Eisenhower is our country. Yeah.
Okay.
Eisenhower is our country. So
That's
yeah.
right. So this is happening today. Kids are not taught about the Holocaust, and this will happen all over again if we let it, and it's not acceptable.
Well, here's the hard part of that. This is the real hard part. You don't know what to believe because you're subject to whoever puts stuff in front of you. And if you're naive enough just to believe what they put in front of you, then you'll start believing stuff that, like, for instance, right now, everybody's the moon landing faking. I don't know if you've seen that, but we faked the moon landing. Now, at first when I heard that, I was like, no, come on, guys. And then I was like, okay, let me open my mind to see what this is. And the Van Allen belt, you know about the Van Allen belt? It's
Not
this
really.
radiation that circles the globe, and we can't get through it. Now, we can't get through it with today's technology, and NASA says a human being can't get through this. So wait a minute. All right, okay, cool. NASA says that today. Today. Why don't we send today? They say that. And I'm sitting there going, okay, wait a minute. How could we do that back then, but we can't do it today? Then I start looking at stuff. And I'm like, all right, this is going to hurt. But you know when that guy's coming off the rail, first man on the moon, who was it?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. That's how we were all told. Who took the picture?
I don't know.
Well, how do you take that picture if
Well,
you're the first man on the moon?
I'm assuming they're not sitting there with a camera.
Well,
let me
if you've
snap
seen
a
the
picture.
picture of
There's
him-
cameras.
if you've seen the
there-
picture-
Nobody's holding this camera that I'm looking at right now.
You're correct. And we're in 2023. We were in 1969 back then. So that's a whole different
July
game.
20th, 1969.
Look at you. You know the exact
And
date.
we were streaming live
Yeah, we're streaming
from the
live.
moon. We were streaming
What's
live
that?
from the moon.
Oh, that's you. Okay, your phone's going
My
crazy.
phone.
So right now, someone has a bad connection
Yeah,
on this
yeah,
podcast, but we were streaming live from
And
the
then,
moon.
so if you dig in and you're willing to go, okay, maybe they lied to me. Maybe the schooling that I have lied to me. And you start going down this path, and you'll go, oh my God, because there's rumors that, you know, Stanley Kubrick was a
movie-
very big producer,
Yeah,
big
movie
producer.
guy.
He's dead now. Big producer. He is supposedly the one who took the moonshot, and faked all of this stuff. And they can pull some stuff up, and you're going, okay, now I don't want to believe this. I really,
Clockwork Orange guy?
I don't. Yes, I don't want to. I really don't want to believe this stuff. But I have to not just believe that what they're teaching me is correct. And if you can get to that spot, oh my God, because you'll back up and go, I think I've been lied to.
Well, then you're about to be lied to again.
Tell me.
Because NASA has decided, they announced yesterday, that they are going to put a man on the moon before 2025 again.
Okay, cool.
Which means by next year we'll
how
put
hard
another
should
man.
that be for somebody who's done it?
for
That's
the
like,
last 50 years.
yeah. How you know, technology's gotten worse.
And
I need
why-
another 2 years to get the technology. You know, and when they've done it, I will give you kudos. When you say I'm going to do it, well, I'm going to be a trillionaire by 2025. I've now stated it. No,
You're gonna
it's
do a
part
lot of
the-
loans.
It's part of the. That's a lot of loans, right?
And why is that news? Why is that news if we've been doing
No.
it for 50 years?
Because we haven't done it for the last 50
Okay,
years.
so there was a podcast. Bill Maher had a podcast. He had Candace Owens on this podcast. And Candace Owens just had brought up, you know Candace Owens? is?
Yes,
She had
absolutely.
just brought up, like, the moon landing. He's like, oh, no, you're one of those conspiracy theorists, too. And she's like, well, I'm just mentioning this, but now that we're on topic, she's like, why haven't we gone back? And Bill Maher said, we've been back a bunch of times.
No, we
And
haven't.
she's like,
Supposedly we were there 3 or 4
she's like,
times.
tell me when. And he's like, well, there's been a couple dozen people that have been on the moon. She said, name them. And he went, because if you don't process it and think about it, to be fooled is very easy, and then dismiss it and move on.
You know, Mark Twain once said, it is easier to fool a person than it is to convince
them.
them that they've
Yeah.
been fooled.
And that's so genius
absolutely
because
true.
here's the thing: if you're a thinking person and you're willing to put your bandwidth to it, because you have only amount of mental bandwidth, if you're willing to put your bandwidth to it and question what you've been taught, like for instance, I got taught the food pyramid. You guys, did you get taught the food pyramid?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe it now?
No.
No at all.
Absolutely
But
not.
How? Okay, now did you grow up in the era where they said stop, drop, and roll? Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Stop, drop,
Fire.
and roll. In case you, I swear to
case
God,
you
for
catch
anybody
fire.
who doesn't know, who's like in their 30s or 20s or even teens, they used to go through this school campaign where they would teach us, hey, if you're on fire, you need to stop what
Drop
you're doing
and roll.
drop to the ground and roll. Now, in your entire life, how many people have you ever seen caught on fire?
None.
Okay,
but,
good.
But wait a minute. Wait
There's
a minute.
a lot of campaigns.
In school, they also taught us that if we were to be attacked with a nuclear bomb, we should hide underneath the desk.
No,
So-
that's straight. That's serious. They taught us to
Yeah.
hide under the desk.
Yes.
You know why? Because those bad nuclear waves won't get you
Yeah, of
if
course.
you're hiding under the.
Of course.
Now here's the thing. What I'm trying to get with that is they plug this stuff into your brain, and they now have you conditioned. And if you're not the type who can elevate above that conditioning, you still believe the food pyramid. You still believe that people are going to catch on fire and you better know what to do. You still believe, oh, nuclear bomb, better get under the desk. If you believe that. Now, here's the problem with that. As you warp forward to 2023 right now, and you talk about Israel, and I don't have a dog in the hunt, either side. I don't know, but I do know there's people coming in saying, hey, these people are bad, these people are bad. And I've had countless people try and explain it to me. And they talk to me about the Gaza Strip and how the religions were there and how they made an agreement and how they didn't honor the agreement and somebody didn't honor the agreement and now everybody's at war. And I'm like, okay, cool. I understand. Why is the U.S. involved? Why are we involved? Why are our warplanes going over to drop bombs on anybody? On anybody?
Are they?
Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But that's the key. I don't
what
know.
I understand
Are we
that-
sending money? Are we sending arms?
Oh, we're always sending money.
Absolutely.
to the
Why?
whole world.
Absolutely.
To the whole world.
Well, you know, some people hate the big brother fact that we're going to stand up and defend people, be the police of the world, but somebody has to defend the innocent.
Why?
Because nobody else is going to do it.
Well,
So if
but,
you were-
but this is an ugly
But-
thing of real nature.
Well,
I mean,
here's
this
the
is
question.
horrible.
If your friend was getting
There you
hurt,
go.
would you
Yeah.
defend
There
him?
you go.
My friend. Oh yeah, my friend. Absolutely.
What about
Okay.
an innocent woman at a McDonald's?
If I'm in the vicinity, yes. But you know what? That's happening to somebody in New York right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to send my money to go help them. There's somebody in that vicinity that their responsibility is to take care of
You
that.
changed it to money.
And you did change it to money. Now, if we allow this to happen, we are allowing the genocide. We are allowing the Holocaust to happen all over again. And we're going to let money get in the way of a Holocaust and a
But
genocide
if
happen.
it was that straight simple, I would agree with you, and I would love to. I really would love to agree with somebody on this. But I don't think it's that simple. Why is there such a faction on one side and then a faction on the other side, and we all go, hey, they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong, and nobody can draw a really, really clear line.
Well, here's what it is. We have information coming inbound from the outside. So that's through social media, through the news, through all these different campaigns, and the youth are getting a message. And that message, like we'll talk about Free Palestine, okay? So I have my opinions about it. The message of Free Palestine from a naked eye that's never heard it before says, yeah, the innocent people that are in Palestine right now getting bombed on by whomever are innocent people, and we need to free those people. So I get that. But I don't think that's the original message. I think the original message, and to be frank, and you know, just looking at history, is kill Jews.
So, honest question, where's Palestine?
2 pieces of Israel inside of Israel is called Palestine.
But where's the line? Is there a line for
There's
Palestine?
borders. There's borders.
Okay,
Well, actually,
okay.
Gaza, the
There
Gaza
is.
Strip, they
Okay.
call it
There's a
an
wall. I
open
know
air.
there's a wall.
They call it an open air prison because there's a wall and they can't go anywhere. So they call it an open air prison. So there absolutely is borders.
To my knowledge, in 2006, they were given this piece of land for their autonomy. And they voted in Hamas. They voted in these evil SOBs who have no problem killing people, who have no problem using them as human shields. And, you know, just like Eisenhower said, hey, they're going to deny this ever happened. And that's why he took all those pictures. Guess what? I'm sorry, all those innocent people who died, the beheadings of babies, we need to show it to these kids. We need to actually
Yeah.
post it, put it on TV, let the people see it. Then they can't deny it.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is taking this place that's way far away from our country, because I don't want bad to happen anywhere.
But
the
distance
truth
doesn't
is-
know right and wrong. There's right and there's
Correct.
wrong. It
You're-
doesn't matter
you're
the distance.
100%. But what you said is we can't be the police first for the
No,
entire globe. Do you know
that's
how many
not what
countries
I
are?
didn't say that.
Okay.
I said a lot of people say that.
Okay.
I think that we are the police force, and somebody needs to be the police force. We don't defund the police. That's clown stuff.
But why are we? Okay, so do you know how many people there are in America roughly? Do you know?
Yeah, 330 million.
330, 340, somewhere in that range. Do you know how many people there are on the globe right now?
Close to 8 billion.
I think it's 9 billion right now. It
think
might
it's
be okay. It might be 8 billion.
And actually
It's
the-
7.2 billion. You're right. It's 8 billion.
And
It's 8
actually,
billion,
what did
yeah.
we talk about? What's
Yes, we just talked about it not that long
That's
ago.
right.
That India
has
just surpassed
surpassed
China,
China.
and they're right on the cusp. But it's 8 billion. So there's 8 billion people. Do you know what 330 million percentage is of 8 billion?
About 3%.
3%. Call it 3%, 4%.
Right.
So we're 3% of the globe, but we police how much percent of the globe?
Well, who is going to do it? Are you going to take communist China and allow them to do it? Are you going to let the evil countries who know nothing about human rights, what the UN does,
So
and
let me
put,
put that
they
in-
just put somebody from Iran to lead the Human Rights Coalition for the? That's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Let me put this in real personal terms, okay? So there's a bum out there who's starving and he can't eat. Mm-hmm. Can you help him?
I do.
Okay, good. You
I
help
do.
him. Okay,
I do-
why
I do.
don't you help all of them?
I don't have the resources, and
Okay,
they're not
boom,
there.
stop right there.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, there's a certain point where you have to go, wait a minute, I got to be able to take care of me first. Before I can take care of everybody. I can take care of some. I can. But before I can do that, I have to be strong.
Understand.
And that's the rule. That's kind of the rule of like nature. In order for me to help somebody, I have to be able to be strong enough to help them.
Right.
Either physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, whatever. I have to be strong enough. And once I'm strong enough, I can help somebody. But if I am weak financially, I can't help anybody. If I'm weak physically, I can't help anybody. Any of those, I can't help anybody.
Right, but we're the United States of America. We're not Zimbabwe.
No, that's
we're
cute.
Not some little.
No,
we're not some
that's
little
cute.
country.
You know,
who-
you know how deep we are in debt right now?
Absolutely.
How deep?
$32 trillion or something.
33
like
trillion
that.
is the unfunded debt. You're correct.
Right.
Our yearly deficit is somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 trillion.
It's absurd.
And we can't afford. Do we have people starving in our country right now?
We do, unfortunately.
Okay. Do we have people homeless in our country right now?
Yes, but that's a totally different problem.
No, it's
That-
not.
Yes,
It's
it is.
going
That is
back
not.
to we need to be strong.
That is not an economic problem. That is a problem. That is a problem stemmed and caused by mental problems and addiction. Those two reasons. You take those two things away, and you will have less than 1% of the homeless will be homeless.
I agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that because here's what I think. I think right now I've got friends that are in the loan business and in the real estate business that are starving. They're not making any money. They're trying to find a job, but they can't find a job. You know why? Because it's hard. You know why? Because our economy has to get back under control. You know why? Because we're sending our money elsewhere, and instead of taking care of our issues right here at home, we're sending it off to wherever it is. You can name it. It can be Ukraine. It can be Israel. It can be this. It can be Palestine. It can be this. Whatever it is, we're sending our money off and weakening us.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. And obviously it's politics, but you know where you start? You want to lower inflation? You want to do all the other things? Okay, you start with drill, baby, drill. We were energy independent for the first time in our history, and
When?
in
You're saying that when?
2019.
We
And
were
2000
independent. We were oil.
We were selling oil.
No way.
Yes.
We were energy independent.
We
What
did,
does that mean in English?
That means we didn't have to go to Iraq, and we didn't have to go to Saudi Arabia, and we didn't have to buy from Russia, and we didn't have to buy from anybody else, and we were able to sell it. And there's one clown who actually went and sold half of our national reserves. Our emergency reserves.
Who's
he
this
sold it
clown?
to China.
Who's this clown?
He's got a bozo nose, and he falls asleep during his speeches.
So no, this is where I get back to, and I'm not against helping people. I actually think it's great to help people. But when I see people trying to buy a home in this country right now, I got a $60,000 earner who lives in Michigan, who works in the auto factory, and it makes $60,000 a year, and he can't afford a house. Do you know why? Because we have to get control of our economy. Do you know why? Because we gave away too much free money, and we're still giving away money to people that don't have anything to do with us.
I'm in agreement, but there's certain things.
Wait a
you
minute,
have
you
to-
can't be in agreement.
Sure.
It's no good if you agree with me.
But
This is bullshit, man.
I agree.
You gotta,
with
you gotta not agree with me.
I agree that we're giving away too much money, but why are we giving away money to Pakistani gender studies? Those are the stupid things that yeah, I'm looking at you when I said that.
Is it because I'm the youth? Is that why? That's
Yeah,
the reason.
you're the Ute. You're the Ute.
Utes.
Utes.
We do a lot of movie references here. We just did a Ute reference.
That's right.
Everybody knows who that is. Put it in the chat or whatever we're at, live stream, podcast, whatever. But the Ute, go ahead.
Yeah.
So back to what I was saying is there's these messages that are out there that the Utes grab onto, and they think they are doing a good thing when they march and they say Free Palestine. They think they're doing a good thing when they walk through New York and they tear down the pictures of the children that are being murdered in Gaza right now. They think they're doing a good thing. So I think they're just confused. The problem with that is that these youths become adults and they don't change their perspective. And they play for a team now. They no longer are looking at the big picture and going, what's right and what's wrong. They're looking at, well, I'm this party, so I have to walk the party line and stick with my group and do this march, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And the youth, they have kids. And guess what? These kids go into the same system that they went into. They're being pushed down this information from their parents that never got re-educated, and now they're breeding these things. But this is all coming from the outside.
And they all yell, defund the police.
It's the same group.
Defund the
It's the
police.
same group.
How much brains do you have to go, hey, you know what? It's probably not a good idea. I mean, when people literally started that, any logical person above, 40 years old said, that's stupid. What are you going to do? Take away the cops? Yeah, that's a good answer. But they literally voted it in to get rid of the police. Somewhere in their brain, they're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe if we get rid of the police, that'll fix things. And they believed it. I don't mind a couple of young people that are wacko. I think it's very good for our society to have some wackos. But if enough of these people start voting it in, they literally get rid of the police. They've done that.
You mad, bro? You mad?
I don't know. Am I mad? Am I mad?
No, absolutely. Now, I'm a person that this is never going to happen, but I've had so many people tell me, oh, Chris, they thought I was terrible when I said, I'm sorry, you should have to take a test before you should be allowed to vote.
Ooh, you're Vic Swami.
Well,
What's his name? Vic Swami?
Actually, he did say that. He said
Vivek
you got to be
Ramaswamy.
He said you got to be 26 years old or have served in the military
No,
or
no,
police.
some
I believe.
post-
Something like
passage.
that. Now, I've been saying this for years. I want you to think about it, Chris.
Yeah.
Somebody with an IQ of 70, his vote cancels out yours.
Well, that's why they have the Electoral College.
Well, that is why
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
At the same time, shouldn't you have to have a basic knowledge of civics and how the government works before you should be allowed to vote?
So we have to take that a step back again. So I agree with your statement, but this now goes to parenthood. So if you become a parent
Yeah.
and you're going to raise a child and bring someone into this world and feed it and teach it, they need to pass a test because they're the ones breeding the garbage that we're dealing with today.
Absolutely.
And they get told and they believe it's real. I'll give you an example, okay? So let's just say I wanted to go into the UFC today, okay? I don't have UFC training, got martial arts training, but not UFC training. And then a whole bunch of people said, bro, you can do it. You can do it. Why don't you start at the top guy out there? Why don't you just start at the top guy?
Yeah,
You've been
do it,
doing
Lee.
Yeah, do
You
it.
can.
Do it. Yeah.
can.
Thank you, 30.
Good. I'll bring the Band-Aid.
Yeah. So, no, not Band-Aids. You better bring a freaking CP or paddles, man. A stretcher, paddles, because I'm in great shape. I'm really great shape. But if I went into the UFC today, and I went in with the belief that I could actually survive, I would get taken apart by those top guys. I would get, and I understand that. What's that?
Finish him.
You're done, man.
Finish him.
Yeah, finish him. Oh, you gave it. Finishing move. Where did we come from? That came from a
Mortal
movie,
Kombat.
but more important, dude, you messed it up.
Dude, it's Mortal Kombat.
We're doing it. So now here's the problem: if you start believing that stuff, if you start believing. Defund the police. That's a good idea. You know, let's get rid of the cops. The cops are the bad guys. Because there are a few bad cops. For all the people who are going to come out, there's always going to be some bad guys. But most of them are really good, highly respectful people that are doing a job that's very dangerous. Super respect to these guys. And the people that went around going, well, we need to defund them. And then they taught their kids, yeah, these police are bad. And then before you know it, the whole city goes awry and the thing crashes. You see what happened in Portland? Have you seen what happened in San Francisco? Have you seen what happened in Austin, Texas? Oh my God. And that's because these people believe this because they get put in front of it and then they start to believe it with their heart and passion and soul. But they don't vet it. They aren't willing to back up and go, hey, is that real? And that's the kind of intellect you have to go, did the moon landing actually happen? Did it? And if you don't have the ability to rise to that, then whatever you got taught is going to be what you know for the rest of your life. And if you go into that UFC ring, you are going to die.
I call those people, they come from the freedom without responsibility party. That's where they stand.
I'm good with that.
No responsibility.
I'm
So
good with that.
that's the Jack Nicholson statement from A Few Good Men.
Okay.
What is it? Help me.
You can't handle the truth.
You rest behind the.
You rest under the blanket of security that I provide,
That's
and then question the method in which I provide it.
Right.
That's
Now, that being said, those guys that are tip of the spear, the Navy SEALs, they should be questioned. But you should also understand that that guy's doing a job that nobody else can do. That's a very difficult job. And if you're just sitting back there under that blanket of security and trying to say, hey, these guys need to get defunded, that's crazy. But that's the same kind of mindset that you need to take. Did we do the moon landing? And should we be sending money to Israel or Palestine, whoever you support? Because somebody's giving you a narrative. And unless you're actually boots on the ground, you don't know.
You know, last year I was in Italy, and Italy is not exactly a very liberal, very conservative country.
Okay.
The people there think we're nuts. They hear the dialogue that comes out of these kids in college, and some of our leftist politicians. They hear this, and they think America is nuts. When they hear that clown with the nose who runs the country, supposedly, they think he's crazy.
You're crazy. You didn't want to say the president of the United. That guy's kind of public. He kind of put himself
All
out
right,
there.
he
Yeah.
put himself out there.
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
We all know who he
Yeah,
is.
okay.
And I'll tell you what, you're right. You throw a freaking match in there, and half of whoever's listening to us are going to be mad at you because you're talking about Biden, you're talking about Trump.
Well,
or you're
are
talking
they?
about
Are they going to be
Swami.
mad? They're going to be mad for their party, but if you ask them a real legitimate question about the policy that he's passed or the way he's running the country, do you think they're happy with it? Can you name a person that's actually happy with how you're
You know,
If you watch on
it's interesting with the polls. Approximately 70% of Democrats do think he's doing a great job. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. Inflation. I mean, they think he's doing a great job on the economy. I think it's 60% of them. I don't get it.
And that comes
That's
back around to
30% of Americans.
Well, then how is Trump beating him in the polls?
Don't know.
This data's all skewed.
I don't know. Something doesn't make sense. I think people ought to watch 2,000 Mules.
Well, if you listen, if you know, the Secretary of the Treasury is Janet Yellen. Okay, Janet Yellen.
Right.
She spoke about a week ago, and she said, "Listen, our economy is doing great. Our unemployment is amazing, and we can more than easily afford the 2 wars in Ukraine and Israel." I don't know if you call it Israel or Palestine, but whatever.
Who believes that?
Who? Nobody. The stock market didn't believe it. Nobody believes it, but they come out and say it
But there's that
because
60%.
it's the food pyramid. Do you believe the food pyramid? No. What's the most important meal of the day? What did you get trained? The most important meal of the day.
Breakfast.
What did you get trained?
Same.
It's not. It's not. They lied to you. And if in order for you to back up and go, hey, they lied to me. That's a very, very high level that you have to reach, but that also has to be reached at, did we land on the moon? Is the Earth flat? Oh, dude, you want to go down a rabbit hole? Check that one out.
That's another thing.
I am
So-
rolling my eyes with that.
Oh my
with
God!
But have you seen the flight maps? Have you seen those? Okay, so if you lay down the flat Earth, they're straight lines. So if you go from, let's say, California and you fly to let's say England, okay? What the map will do, now this is just an example, I don't know the exact flat routes, but what will happen is you'll fly down to South America, then over to Australia, then back to England. But if you flatten it out, it's a straight line.
And it doesn't. And when I don't. And I'm still in the camp that the globe is round. I'm very much in the camp, but I'm not above questioning it. I will question it. I will say, okay, cool. Maybe there's an ice wall, Game of Thrones style, that's out there that nobody's seen. I do think it's real weird that in Antarctica, you can't go into certain areas.
That's aliens, man. That's a different topic.
And I do, if you guys want to Google, we'll go down a really weird path, go down General Byrd or Admiral Byrd, when he went down with all these fighter pilots and then they came back with their tail between their legs. I don't know if I believe that, but I do know that my mind's open enough to question it. And I know whoever's laying the narrative in front of me has some control. And that's the same thing with Palestine. That's the same thing with Israel. I'm sorry, Israel. That's the same thing that's going on. Whoever you're listening to, because if you go down to, let's just take the two camps, Fox and MSNBC. If you listen to MSNBC, they got one vertical, and if you watch them long enough, you'll believe it. Fox has one vertical, and if you watch them long enough, you'll believe it. And as long as you're fighting, they can take your money on either side. And as long as they're taking your money, the military-industrial complex is spending your money and sending it out. Well, we have trouble getting people to buy houses. Why? Because we're trying to get control of our economy. Why? Because we gave people too much money. So now we got to rein it back in, and this is how it affects a loan officer. It's how it affects you. So when people are sending money out there, I'm going, this is stupid. Make your case.
I do believe.
We agree.
I do believe we need to spend money in certain places outside of the United States.
Absolutely.
Okay, in defense of Israel, Ukraine. I don't know, one of the most corrupt governments in the history of the
Yeah,
world.
we're the biggest suckers on earth.
No, I believe Joe Biden has been bought.
Biden.
Has been bought.
Oh, dude, he didn't say his name.
Okay, I didn't
He didn't say his name.
I didn't say his name.
No. He's a resident of the United States.
And camel toe, camel toe,
okay, cool.
whatever. They are who they are.
Okay.
But he is compromised by so many different countries,
Yeah.
and you're a fool if you don't believe that. I'm looking right in the camera, and
Yeah.
if you don't believe that, you're burying your head in the sand. You have an ostrich factor problem.
These are real things that come up, but people close their mind to it. If you watch these guys who there's a lot of people who hate Trump. All right, cool. Well, you love Trump, you hate Trump, whatever. You'll watch a lot of people do the videos. Okay, why do you hate Trump? And they'll give a good name. They're like, he's a racist. And say, go, give me one example. And they walk
can't.
away. Or somebody says, hey, if you have to vote for Trump or Biden right now, who would you vote for? And they say Biden. Okay, cool. Can you give me one policy
can't.
that he did good? And they walk away. And I'm saying, no. This is the exact reason that you need to put it all on the table. There's this good Joe Rogan podcast where there's a doctor named Hopitz, Dr. Hopitz, okay? And he's a vaccine doctor or something like that. And he went on a Joe Rogan show, did a good podcast. All right, cool, good for you. Thank you very much for putting it out there. Then Kennedy went on. Robert Kennedy, who's running for president, went on and said, no, he's full of shit. He's lying to you. He's lying to you. Here's like, and Joe Rogan's like, whoa, you're gonna call him out like that? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna call him out like that. And he goes, okay, cool. Well then, why don't we have a debate? And they asked him to do a debate, and you know what?
They put up $100,000, and he wouldn't do it.
No.
Like millions.
Tell him the story of that.
All right.
Millions.
Yeah, tell him.
And they wouldn't do
So it
it.
started out with Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan said, I'll put up $100,000.
Okay.
Then it went to another person, and I think it was Andrew Tate.
This is all about the vaxing, right?
Yeah, it's just because Peter Hopkins, I don't know,
something like that, yeah.
is like, the vax is good. And then you get Kennedy, who's like, here's all the facts about the vax. So they have this thing going on, and he will not debate him live. So all these millionaires came out, Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan, a bunch of guys, and they put up, like, I think it got up to like $4 million to donate to any charity of his choice. And he just,
They won't do it.
He won't.
Now this goes back to me going into the UFC. If I had a whole bunch of people saying, hey, yeah, let's go, but I'm not going to fight. No way. Why? Because I really can't win. I can't win because what I have is crap. My set of skills versus a real world set of skills, I will lose. And in a debate, you can actually find stuff out. So that's why this is where you need to rise to that level. And when you guys talk about Israel and are sending our money and our troops, my son's Special Forces Navy right now. It scares the shit out of me that he could actually be going to war somewhere in theater when I'm like, hey, this is not where we should be.
You know what? I will not tell you where, but one of my granddaughters is in the Air Force, and they just shipped her to the Middle East 3 weeks ago.
And that's crazy. And that should scare the shit out of you.
And it does.
It scares the shit out of me.
And
what's
does.
more is our politicians, like they've always done, is they take the kids that are actually volunteering and putting their life on the line, and they use them as pawns in order to put more money into the military-industrial complex.
You know how the Rothschilds made their money?
Tell me.
They created war. And what they did was they hired mercenaries, and they would sell the mercenaries kind of to France, and they'd sell mercenaries to England. And they paid the mercenaries, but they got paid a tremendous amount of money for each dead mercenary. So they created the wars because they're funding both sides.
Where do you get your data? How do you hear this?
I read a book a week for 35 years, so yeah, I read a lot.
Because I always ask people,
Okay.
what's your source? You know, when somebody says, "Hey,"
I
because
don't
if you go
remember
down the Fox-
what paper.
By the way, if you want to try a weird experiment, just watch Fox News for 1 week and then watch MSNBC for 1 week. If you do that, after you watch 1 week of MSNBC, you'll go like, yeah, they're making some good points. Yeah, that's some good points. You go down the side of Fox, you'll be like, yeah, they're making some good points. But then you watch them together and you're like, you didn't tell them about that part. Oh, you didn't say about that
That's-
part. You didn't say about that part. And that's how they control your mind.
That's what it's all about, is what they don't tell you, how they don't compare, how they don't look at both sides. That's how they control, because they just tell you one side.
And then if you play for that team and you read the headline, Trump sucks or Biden sucks, that's what you believe. You're like,
And-
Biden sucks.
And, whatever side of the aisle you stand on, I would tell people, tell me what Trump did to you. Don't tell me how he made you feel, and don't tell me what he said. Tell me how he hurt you. And you could say the same thing for Biden. Don't tell me what he said. Don't tell me they fell asleep. Don't tell me how he hurt. Just tell me how he hurt you. And they don't have an argument for either side.
That's the honest arena. That's the
Yeah.
that's where you actually find out what somebody's. And the UFC is such a beautiful world because you know what? This guy talks crap all day long. This guy talks crap all day long.
But it's
And they
settled in
do
the
have
ring.
their own little technique or their own skill or whatever or this and that. Like one of my favorites was Ronda Rousey. I love to watch Ronda Rousey fight. She was amazing when she hit the mat, but standing up, she was in trouble. Holly Holm knocked her ass out because standing up, Holly Holm was better. But on the ground, Ronda Rousey was better. And then when they actually got into the arena, Holly won. And you can't dispute that. That happened. Well, the same thing happens in like Israel. We have there's camps trying to send money to this side, and there's camps trying to send money to this side. But who benefits if somebody wins? Does that America benefit?
It's the only democracy in the entire Middle East.
But I didn't hear
I
a
do
yes.
think it's important.
I didn't hear a yes.
So yes, I do think it's important.
America wins if who wins?
If democracy wins.
Okay, so which one's democracy?
Absolutely Israel.
Okay, so Israel's democracy.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So and see, I don't know that. I don't know because
that is.
I know what they feed me, and I've got friends on both sides. By the way, it's so strange.
And
to have friends on both sides.
I have friends on both sides.
And I'm
too.
like, can you teach me? And I'm not going to take sides, but can you teach? And they teach me, and I
Whoa.
listen to their side.
Whoa.
What?
Who are these friends?
So they teach me this side, and I'm like, okay, I get your point. And then the other side they teach me this side. And I'm like, okay, I get your point. Now, I'm afraid to put these people together because it will not go well. Just like having a Trump supporter and a Biden supporter at Christmas dinner, probably not going to go well.
That sounds like a great time. What do you mean?
That sounds like a good
What
podcast.
time do I
That's
show
a good
up?
podcast.
Well, see, here's the thing:
Yeah.
is that this is big in my family too. Is Thanksgiving? I'm going to bring up some politics, and there's going to be some very unhappy people, and they won't talk to me about it.
Although, yeah.
But you're looking forward to that, it
I'm
sounds
looking
like.
forward to it because it's my okay. So people say when you're having people over, there's two things you don't do. You don't talk religion or politics, and I'm like, fuck that. These are the only times in my life where I get everyone around me, where I get to share my piece, and you do too. Other than that, we're all too busy with life, working, putting gas in our car, feeding our kids, and we don't have time for these conversations. You know when we do? Christmas. You know when we do? Thanksgiving and birthdays.
But if you give up your mind to that micro chamber where you're just getting the echo chamber where you're just getting the same data,
That's why I want to have these conversations.
then you'll end up defunding the police.
Well, they'll unlock. Maybe they have an opportunity to unlock
seriously,
something in
I don't
my
know
brain
where-
that I didn't know about.
I don't know where all these people that said, "Hey, defund the police," they kind of sink back into the shrubs like Homer Simpson did when he said something stupid. I would really love for these people to be out there going, "Yeah, I said defund the police. I was wrong." I would love for these people to come out and say that stuff.
I love the politicians who talk about violence, insurrection, and all these other things. Meanwhile, they're sending people to riot in the streets, and they're telling people openly to do it.
Well,
See,
it's okay to protest during COVID as long as it has to do with this agenda. And
Well,
no, you
COVID,
can't visit your
but there's
grandma.
no,
that's
as
a
long as you take
beautiful-
their
no,
No,
side.
you can't visit your grandma.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. The COVID one? Oh my God, how many people drank that hook, line, and sinker, went,
I think
lined up,
60% of the country.
60% of the
No,
country
more.
lined up for them to put something that's experimental in your arm.
You want to know the
And
truth?
Now,
I did it, and I certainly regret it. I
Okay.
did it for two reasons.
Thank you. Wait.
I
I need to pause on that
I
for
got
one
one
second.
too. I got one
I got to pause on that for
Go
one
ahead.
second. I want you to say that again say that exactly what you just said.
I'm going to tell you why I took it.
Okay.
Okay. My wife has an immune system disease.
Yeah.
And I was naive, but I wanted to protect my wife, and I wanted to see my father before he died. And I wouldn't have lived with myself if I would have given it.
Okay.
Now, I put my trust in them.
Yes.
And that was
so did-
that
so
was
did-
the mistake.
And so now do you
100
say
plus
what you-
200
say-
million
say
people
the
put
last
their
part,
trust.
the most important
I
part.
put my trust in him, and it was a mistake because I definitely felt something different in my heart for months.
Wow.
So
really?
you regret it.
Like
You
what?
said that. You regret it. You
I
regret it.
regret it. And I was told that Governor Newsom wants the kids to get it before they go back to school or
Yeah, it's
something in
crazy.
September.
And that was one
No
thing.
way.
If you follow, do you know that they hired actors and singers to literally put it on kids shows to say the vaccine is great, the vaccine is great, you should get the vaccine, the vaccine is great. And I'm sitting there going, I cannot believe this.
You know what they
now,
did
now
in
you
school?
got it, you regret it. I didn't get it, and I'll tell you what, I got shamed by so many people. They're like, I got shamed by my own family sometimes. They would say, hey, listen.
That's
wha-
not because
what-
of the vax. It's because
Yeah.
of the way we live.
They like they would say, what's the harm? And I'm like, the harm is they're putting something in my body that I don't know, and they're trying way too damn hard to do it. Now, here we are in 2023, and we're finding out you can actually sue the manufacturers now. You can, whoa! So they just sold us
Pharma?
a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Sue Pharma? I
there's-
thought that was
I
the one
thought
thing they
that
were-
was the one thing that they
Oh,
were immune
they just
from
came out
because
not
of
too long
this.
ago. You can start suing.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah, you didn't get.
Did you get the vax?
I didn't get the email. No.
No.
Then shut up.
Well,
them.
and real story. Me and my girl, we got COVID at the same time. We got the hard one. We got the real bad one. And when I was in the middle of it, I was like, maybe I messed up. I don't know. I might have. So, and then I got through it, and it hit me hard for 2 days, really hard for 2 days. Like I didn't know if I was coming through it, but then I got through it, and then everything was just way better. And then they still want me to get it, and I'm like, you're crazy. You are crazy. I've already fought this monster and I beat it. For those who didn't, I mean,
You know what I read? It's in high demand right now.
I get pissed off. Sorry.
In high demand.
Tell me.
Unvaxxed semen
What?
is in high demand.
You're kidding me.
I kid you not, man. I'll be back.
I'll be back. So if he disappears for about 3 minutes, you know what he did? Well, I don't know 3 minutes. I just hear from this girl.
Just don't shake my hand when we leave.
Don't shake my hand when you leave. Yeah. Fist bump. No fist bump. No, not even that. We're good with the. See you, buddy. We're good with the peace side. We're good with that.
And we're canceled.
Okay.
Again? Canceled. Canceled again.
Okay, so we're 45
sure.
minutes. Okay, we're 45 minutes in. So we got about 15 minutes. We'll go about for another 15 minutes. So we've talked about some pretty controversial shit. This is loans. We're all loan officers.
Right.
We're just loan officers struggling to make it, and there's a lot of reasons we're struggling to make it. Part of it, I think, is, like I said, the U.S. is sending our money in the wrong spots and trying to, I don't know, fund the wrong things. And
Let's
We
talk
need to
about
get
funding
to-
the right things.
Okay.
Let's talk about funding the right. What's going on in your life, man? What's going on with your business?
Business is tight. It's not like it has been, certainly for the last few years. But I always look at the niches. I look for the niches. And I believe the reverse mortgage is a great opportunity right now because seniors, hey, inflation took a big bite out of their budget.
well, what's
and,
an reverse mortgage interest rate right now?
it's ranging in the high sevens. So
You can get a 7 reverse.
high sevens, very high sevens. So that's where it is. But you're getting an adjustable as rates drop. That'll drop too. So there's options
That's
there.
the relief for seniors. Anyone, I mean, those that have hard times that own a home right
They're
now.
on a fixed income.
There's a
Inflation
big pool
took
of
a
them.
big
Yeah.
bite. I mean, they
Yeah.
get a little increase with Social Security, but they're hurting.
Yeah.
And what if we could stop their mortgage payments? A reverse mortgage is the only loan where you can make no payment. You can make a partial payment. You can pay $50. You pay $1,000. You can pay an interest-only payment. You can pay a principal and interest payment fully amortized. Or if you got enough equity, you can make it pay you. There's no loan like it
Yep.
anywhere.
Yep.
So it's one of the most misunderstood.
I agree, 100%. Actually, when I started the mortgage industry, that's what I started on. I started on reverse mortgages, and I heard there was going to be a boom coming, and there was. It was like 2006-ish, somewhere in that range. But I agree with you. I think it's so misunderstood, and it comes from the 70s and 80s, from the equity sharing programs, that people think that the bank's going to take their house.
That was the old style.
Yeah, the old style. It wasn't
doesn't
even a
work like
reverse
that
mortgage.
anymore.
It was
We
a
were
different
killing
tool.
it back then in reverse mortgage. We're doing
man.
30 a month. 30
commission
reverse
wasn't
mortgages
limited.
a month.
The
Yeah,
commission
30
wasn't
we were killing it. Yeah.
Well, that's why I wrote a book, and I send the book for free to
Sweet.
teach.
Tell us about your book. Tell us about your book.
It talks. It talks
What's the
about
name of it?
myths. It's called the Reverse Mortgage Roadmap.
Reverse
And
mortgage
what-
roadmap. Okay.
What we did was
Where can we get it?
just reach out to me. I'll send it to you for free.
Okay.
I'll-
Where can
I'll
they
give-
find
I'll-
you? Give me your call signs, your @ symbols.
The Reverse Mortgage Roadmap.com/Chris. And they
Okay,
could,
all
they
right,
could,
okay.
it-
The
it
Reverse
goes
Mortgage
right,
Roadmap
It
stuff,
goes
okay.
right. It goes right to the book, and I'll send it to you for free.
And are you on social? Do you have ats symbol? At the mortgage guy, at Chris Trapani,
No,
at Fire
there's-
Your Landlord, at
Chris Trapani. There's Fire Your Landlord. There's Chris the Mortgage Pro. You could find me. I'm easy to find.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
easy
cool.
to find.
All right, cool.
So
I was trying to plug you. That's what I was trying to do.
I
was trying to give you
appreciate
some
that.
plug here. Okay.
Yep. I do Fire Your Landlord. I wrote the book. If you want
Okay.
to buy a house, I'll send you my book for free. But I'm going to send you these guys because it's their show.
Well, you can-
So they'll
you can
take
do
care of you.
We wrote the book too.
So we did all that. You know, I'm reminded when I started in the business in 1990, things were, it was totally 100% refi market. Everybody was maybe 10% upside down. And it was a refi market for anybody who had equity. Rates had just come down from 10.5 to maybe 9.5.
9.5.
9.5. And as the rates continued to drop down to 8.5 and 7, we're refining like crazy. And I didn't even do my first purchase loan for over 2 years in the business. So
Wow.
because nobody was buying houses. So what I did was
We stopped for a selfie, guys. In case you're watching, we stopped for a selfie.
So what I did was I was doing refis, but all of a sudden rates went up, and there wasn't a loan to be had in the business,
In the refi, just like now.
just like now.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Well, there was a loan. HUD came out with a loan called a Title I loan.
Oh, Title I loans. Yes, talking about Title I loans.
It
Tell me
was
about
a
it.
$25,000 loan for home improvement only.
Okay.
But all these people were in debt. If their debt ratio went up to 41%, if they worked with their debt ratio, they got this $25,000 loan. We charged 10 points. I fed the family for 2
Holy
years on those loans.
10 points.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a low
You know
loan.
that's an HPM now, right?
Today it is.
It's an
But-
HPM right
but
now.
That was pretty standard. then.
HPM is high price mortgage. It's illegal.
That's right. But back then, that was standard what we did. So fed the family for 2 years on that. And today, people are in more debt than ever. Today, I heard over $1 trillion
Yeah,
in credit
in credit card debt. Yeah.
22, 25,
Dude,
30%.
there's an industry right now in Orange County, an industry, not like one guy, an industry that their only job is to tell you to default on your credit cards. Their job, they call you up and they say, "Hey, you're 80,000 in debt in credit card, default on all of them." And you go, "Wait a minute, what do you mean default on all of them?" Well, once you default on all of them, then you pay me and I'll come back and I'll negotiate those out for 20 cents on the dollar.
Yep.
And they're a law firm. It's not one guy. There's a marketing firm and there's the law firms. And these marketing firms send the client over to the law firm and they're trying to get the people to pay off their debts at 20 cents on the dollar. This is an industry. It's an industry.
I know somebody who works in that industry doing exactly that. She's a sales rep, and she's making a killing.
And they're making
doing
a
it.
killing.
And I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
You're telling people this. And if you're a homeowner, by the way, they can come after you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well,
so
yeah.
if you're a homeowner,
But our system is so messed up that in order to deal with this, there's an industry. Like, do you remember the industry of loan mods?
Why-
Loan mods? Do you
Why
remember
is
that?
that so? Why is that so shaking though? If we have bankruptcy,
well, then file a bankruptcy.
Yeah, bankruptcy
But wait a
is
minute.
the way to
But
I
wait
know,
a
but
minute.
what
But
I'm
if
saying
you
is,
own a
why
home,
is that so bad when we can BK?
but if you own a home, they're not going to let you BK out of that with
It's not your mortgage.
$300,000,
Yeah.
$500,000 in equity.
Yeah, not your mortgage, but your credit cards. You can BK your credit cards. Well, you can BK everything except mortgage and federal debt.
Right.
So why is the credit card thing disgusting, but the BK isn't?
Look, there's reasons for a BK, and most people don't want to file a BK. Bad things happen to good people all the time. So if that's what happens to you, fine. If you have another solution without filing a BK, do that. So what I do is I do HELOCs. No doc HELOCs, VOE only, bank statement HELOCs, all kinds of different HELOCs. And yeah, the interest rate's going to be between 9.5% and 12%.
We're having 12, so that's what ours are at too. Yeah.
But it's sure gonna beat a 25%.
But this is a sign of the time, because do you remember the loan mod? There was guys
I do.
making like millions of dollars a year.
And I know guys who went to
promoting-
prison for it.
Yeah,
too.
went to prison for it. Yeah, they went to prison for the loan mod situation. And I think, I don't know if it'll do the same thing in the credit card industry, because when that evil part happens, and that evil part is usually dealing with the very difficult part of our economy. Like, for instance, the loan mod guys, they would tell you, hey, don't make your mortgage payment for 2, 3, 4, 6 months, and then we'll call the bank and we'll modify the loan. Now, did they actually do it sometimes?
Sometimes
they did,
they
yeah.
did.
They actually did it.
And the reason
these
they
gu-
went to prison was for the ones that, not that they didn't try, but the ones that failed. And
Yes.
these people lost their home.
And they
Yeah.
cut a check too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last money, then lost their house.
That's
Last
right.
bit of money, then lost their
You
house.
didn't finish
Yeah.
Title 1. What's Title 1? Does
The,
it still exist today?
no, it doesn't exist
Okay,
today.
all right, cool.
But
10 points. I'm chasing that.
Yeah, okay, I'll do those.
hey, the HELOCs are the Title Ones of today.
Yeah, they just don't pay 10 points.
They can pay very well.
Really?
Extremely well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right, well,
I mean,
you
it's
have a different world than I do.
yeah. No, we have opportunities to make very serious money with them, and I got a dozen of them going right now. So they're very good.
Well, so a little while back we had a loan, and we had someone who came to us and they said, hey, listen, I want to get this house. Here's what I make. And I make some money from a side hustle. And I said, okay, how much? And they said, well, in the last 3 months, $35,000. And I'm like, $35,000 from a side hustle? All right, tell me about that. Well, I've been doing it for a couple years, but I only recently started making money at it. Can we use it? I said, well, did you file on your last year's tax returns? Yes. Cool. I have a 24-month average. All right, cool. So that's in the loan business, I need a 24-month guideline. Whether you made nothing for the first year, as long as you can prove you did it, then I take the money, divide it over 24 months, and then justify how I got to the money. So I'm able to use that. So I say, okay, we can use it as a stream of income. But in your case, I think it's far better that we pay down some of your debt, and then we put a little bit more money down payment. Okay, cool. It worked. Cool. We get a house. Yay, get a house. All right, cool. What's your side hustle? And she says, digital marketing. And I said, okay, digital marketing, what do you mean? And she goes, it's affiliate marketing and digital marketing. And I said, okay, so tell me more about that. She says, well, you can either sell an affiliate for a product like Amazon, and like you use Oakley sunglasses. Well, if somebody orders them through your page because you have a following, well, then you make a commission off of it. Or you can sell digital products. And in those cases, you make higher commissions. And I said, okay, so teach me about it. She goes, I got a better way to do it. It's called the Roadmap to Riches, and you buy the course. And the course is $497, and they will teach you everything you need to do. And I said, well, you know what? If you can make this kind of money, I want to learn about this. So I'll buy Roadmap to Riches. So I bought the Roadmap to Riches. It's $497. And I listened to this thing. It's 88 hours of study. So you actually have to put time into it. But at the end of it, you've got what's called master resale rights. And you have the right to resell it for 100% commission. The person that sold it to you doesn't make any money, and the people that create it don't make any money. It's called master resale rights. It's the ability to pass it on and make the commission. So this is what this client was doing, was digital marketing, and some of it from affiliate marketing, some of it from digital downloads, but that Roadmap to Riches taught them every step of the way to do it. And Chris and I said, we can afford it and we can lop off a little bit of time in order to do it. So we're actually doing that exact same thing. We're doing digital marketing. We've only been doing it for a few months now, and we're bringing people on and teaching them how to do it step by step. So we're actually doing a side hustle, because in the mortgage business, nobody's killing it right now. Nobody.
That's right.
I know of a loan officer who used to make millions a year, millions in Temecula, millions. Packed up and moved somewhere else. Packed up and moved somewhere else because he can't make those millions anymore. It's a very, very, very tough business. Very, very, very tough business. So we're doing that side hustle. I know you have a side hustle. Tell us about your side hustle.
Well, I own the trademark to fire your landlord.
Okay, trademark to fire landlord.
I trademarked it, and
Okay.
actually I just received the incontestability stage from the U.S. Patent Office, where
for
I've
you.
had it for a certain period of time, and nobody can ever contest that I own it.
Congratulations.
So that just happened. Thank you.
All right, good. Good stuff.
And what I've done is I wrote the book. I realized long ago that
We got 5
the
minutes
difference between the $1 million earners in real estate and in mortgage, what was the difference? Are they better salespeople? Sometimes. Do they work harder? Not really. What is the key? They have a great system. You got to have a system to make $1 million. The key is this: they were great marketers, and the better the marketer they are, the more money they made. And as proof of this, I want everybody to think of, if you were to have a car accident today, who would you call? Now, maybe you know a lawyer, but think of all the TV commercials you see. Here in California, we see Larry H. Parker. Is he the best lawyer? He hasn't practiced law in 20 years. He has no idea. What he does is markets. He sold the company, and now he very simply markets. And I had to become a great marketer. So what I did was I created these marketing tools around Fire Your Landlord. I literally wrote the book. But now I take my picture off the book, and I put other realtor and loan officers' picture on the book, make it look like we co-wrote it, make them look like an expert. I give them automated marketing tools, CRMs, everything automated to help them generate new business. Now that's geared towards first-time home buyers, and that's gonna come back. It's not there right now, but I also did the same thing with reverse mortgage. I wrote the reverse mortgage roadmap. I could take my picture off, I could make that person look like the expert. And what I do is I have a subscription base. I offer more than anybody for what they're going to get. It's just an incredible tool, but all the subscribers have their marketing done for them. Unless you have 10 years to just go become a marketer yourself, become a marketing expert. If you don't have 10 years, subscribe to a service that will do it for you and brand you.
Where
And
can they
that's
find
the
that?
key.
Where can they find that?
You can call me at 310-350-2546. We'll set you up on a webinar, a demo, and you'll see how the whole program works. Very, very simple,
Okay.
but detailed.
All right, good deal. Good, good, good. You know what? Anything else you guys have to talk about? Because we're getting to that mark here. You know what? We really appreciate you coming by,
Yeah,
man. It's always
absolutely.
fun. We've known you for years and years and years and years. And fellow loan officer, you're in the trenches together. We don't work in the same company, FYI.
Nope.
People don't.
Nope.
But we're good
dear
buddies.
friends.
We had good
That's
friends. So we appreciate you coming by. And we've been Chris and Lee. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Chris, that's Lee.
We're out.
And that's Chris too.